Yes, people, back again with another video. Coming up in this video, Premier League review as well as the Champions League preview. Games happening tomorrow as well as on Wednesday. We'll see how the tie turns out into the quarterfinal qualifications. First things first, Manchester City versus Chelsea, or is it Chelsea versus Manchester City? Man City beating Chelsea 3-0 at Stamford Bridge. Great performance by Manchester City. They've really put down their marker and show that they are in the hunt for this Premier League title. Of course, things was really flat in the first half. In my opinion, I think that Chelsea had the better chances. Cucurella scoring that goal, unfortunately, was chalked offside. Um, they definitely created the more chances and the better chances in the first half, but their team looks a little bit short. It looks a little bit light, in my opinion. That midfield, not really the best midfield at this moment in time. Chelsea haven't win about 4 games now, winless in 5 games, in fact. And things are really not looking good for Chelsea in terms of their qualifications into the Champions League, let alone um, the European League or even into the Conference League. So they really need to pull up their socks if they want to make the European competitions. We all know that these big teams or the so-called top six teams, European competitions are very, very important to them. On the other hand, fantastic performance by Manchester City. Like I said, they really put down the marker, showing that they are in the hunt for this Premier League. Fantastic performance by the team. It just seems like the team is really coming together. Is it a little bit too late for Manchester City? We know that they host Arsenal this coming Sunday. Blockbuster fixture. Definitely, I'll be watching that matchup. But let me know, guys. What do you think? Do you think that it is a little bit too late for Manchester City, or is there a possibility that they can really turn it around? And then also, let me know what do you think, guys. Is this bigger for Manchester City winning the league, or is it bigger for Arsenal bottling the league? In your opinion, at your discretion, what do you think is the bigger hype around the two? But nevertheless, fantastic performance by the team. I really think that Pep Guardiola really tweaked some things, especially in the midfield, giving Ryan Cherky that freedom role. And we know that players like Ryan Cherky don't really get those opportunities in a Pep team or in a Pep system. He rarely allows people or players to have that freedom role. We've only seen it in Barcelona, giving Messi that free role. In Bayern Munich, I'm not sure who was that player that had that free role. Um, but then, of course, at Manchester City, De Bruyne was the one that had that free role. And we've seen what happened to Jack Grealish in that number 10 position, or supposedly being that number 10 position. Um, Players like Jack Grealish, Ryan Cherky are not players that should be, how can I say, locked in. They should have a more free role, because that's when we see the best of the players. And it seems like Cherky is slowly taking up that position in the Manchester City team, taking up that freedom role and that creativity role. He is a maverick player. He is a difference player. Never mind the flares and the tricks and all of that. I really think that he's making a positive impact in this Manchester City team. And of course, we all know that all of this wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for Pep. Yes, we can have all these players coming together and bringing their part, but at the end of the day, what sets the difference between Arsenal and Manchester City is Pep Guardiola. We all know his caliber. um, I think it's really unfair to speak about or to say that he's a checkbook manager, this, that, that. I mean, he's shown it over and over, time and again, what he is capable of. How many different systems has he played at Manchester City? Um, and how many teams has he rebuilt? So I think it's only fair to say that all of this is because of Pep Guardiola, and I have to give my kudos to him as a manager. He's really, brought this team together at the right time. You know that Manchester City always comes alive at the end of the season, or towards the end of the season. But then again, is it a little bit too late? I guess we never know. We'll have to wait and see. Also, another star performance that I really appreciated was Nico O'Reilly. It just seems like he has a thing for headers, arriving late in the box, as well as, from that dead balls, those set pieces, is really impacting this team. He's definitely a player, in my opinion, that should go to the World Cup with England. I think he can bring something different to that England team. So he's a must go for me for that England national team. And then, of course, disappointing loss by Arsenal, losing at home to Bournemouth 2-1. We've all seen the trolls that have been happening on social media, the whole Arsenal bottle job. Um, can they do it? Can they really bottle the league? I don't know. It just, for me, in this Arsenal team, there's no winners in this team. Not even the manager is a winner. I don't think, and I don't mean this in a bad way, but not even the manager as a player was a winner, and as a manager he was a winner. We can't count the FA Cup, him winning the FA Cup, because he won that FA Cup with Unai Emery's team. Um, he's been given countless windows to rebuild his own team, and I think the biggest mistake for Arsenal, guys, let me know what you think. Their biggest mistake is playing down these smaller competitions, these Carabao Cup, FA Cup competitions. They're so focused on winning the Premier League, they're so focused on winning the Champions League, um, that they neglect these smaller competitions, not knowing that this smaller competitions breeds winners. You need these smaller competitions to breed those winners, to breed those confidence in the players, and also building self-confidence in the players. I mean, if they cannot win any trophy, how do you think they are coping mentally with this part of the season or this time of the season? So, like I said, really disappointing loss for Arsenal. But look, I'm not going to even complain about it because it gives us Manchester City a chance, a chance. And I've always said it, guys. As long as Manchester City is within touching distance, come the business end of the season, I back my team to win all the way, all the way, all the way. I back my team to win. I still think that we can get it over the line this season. I think Arsenal, they're gonna crumble. Really, they're gonna crumble. If it's not this week, I won't be surprised if Arsenal beats Manchester City or gets a draw. But then the following week, drop points. Manchester City really have to take advantage of this situation. Um, the Sharks smell blood in the water, and they definitely hunting Arsenal. Are they a little bit nervous at this stage? Could it be um, that they're losing their confidence? I guess we will wait and see. But definitely for the Premier League as a whole, it's going to end in a blockbuster fixture or a blockbuster finish, if I can put it that way. So I'm definitely curious to see how this league shapes out come the last three games of the season. I'll definitely be here. And let me know in the comment section what do you think is your thoughts and predictions over the next few games, right? Another disappointing loss by Spurs. Spurs fighting relegation at this point in time, um, losing their match away at Sunderland. I think at this point, guys, I think that even Spurs fans already accepted that they're gonna go down. Um, I don't think it's over yet. My only concern is that the teams around Tottenham, are they good enough? Are they good enough um, to make Tottenham look that bad? Because if they're not good enough, Tottenham might just stay up. Really, Tottenham might just stay up. Um, but I mean, we've seen at the end of the game, Romero crying at the end. Did it take them so long to realize that they are in such a terrible position? I mean, that's not a good thing for a so-called Big Six team to get relegated. It just shows you the strength of the Premier League or the strength of the other teams in the Premier League. I mean, you cannot take the Premier League for granted. You can't take any team for granted, whether it's a bottom of the league team or whether it's a top of the league team. Any team can beat anything, and I think that's the reason why we watch the Premier League, for this very reason, because anything can happen in the Premier League. We've seen it time and time again. Um, So Spurs are definitely in a pickle. So we're gonna have to wait and see, will they be able to get out of this. That win for West Ham on Friday got them out of the relegation zone, and Spurs just made it even worse for themselves by losing. Um, I think the difference between the teams from 15th place or from 16th place right down to 20th or up until 18th place, it's only a 3-4 point gap. So there's still a chance for Spurs to make it out of relegation. I think between those 3-4 teams, if one of them can drop points and Spurs win their next 4 games, if they can just win 4 games, I think that they'll stay up. But it's looking very impossible for Spurs to win. And I don't think Spurs, or maybe they do, guys, but the financial impact for a top six team to get relegated, it's huge, guys. I mean, these top six teams need at least Champions League or European competitions. But I mean, if Spurs is not even getting European competitions, them getting relegated, it's a huge financial loss for them. And how long could it take them to come up? They might come up the next season if they do get relegated. They might come up and they might find it difficult to compete um, with the other teams. So I don't know. Spurs are really in a pickle. Top four races, I think for the most part, the top two, Arsenal and Manchester City, is somewhat secured. Anything can still happen. Manchester United play tonight, and they can really solidify their position in the top four by winning tonight. In fact, they have to win. And I think in the top four, we've got Aston Villa. They're also looking pretty decent. And we'll definitely have to wait and see how the top four pans out. Top five and top six European or Europa competitions, as well as Conference League, Liverpool, even though they won over the weekend, um, they can look forward to making it into Europe at least. I think it's very important for this Liverpool team to make it into Europe, especially with what they spent over the season. What did they spend? Over 500 million, half a billion, on this past transfer window. Yes, they let go of a lot of players and freed up their wage bills, but still, that's a lot of money that is being spent. And also on this money thing, guys, Manchester City always gets targeted for the amount of money they've spent. I mean, look at Arsenal. Arteta spent close to a billion and didn't produce anything. Um, so yeah, on this thing of money, teams need to spend money. Really, you need to spend the money if you really want to compete. Unfortunately, that's how it is. Players are costing astronomical numbers as well as the wage bills. But nevertheless, Liverpool won 2-0 away to Fulham, sorry. Important win for them. Salah scored. I think he had to score just to prove the haters wrong. Um, but I think all good things come to an end. Unfortunately, he'll be leaving the Premier League. He'll be leaving Liverpool, as well as Robertson will be leaving. Will Van Dijk be leaving? I'm not sure. How will Liverpool shape up come this season? And I think that their business need to start soon. Really, their business need to start soon. Looking for a replacement for Mo Salah. Looking for a replacement for Andy Robertson. And who knows, start looking for a replacement for Van Dijk, because he's also of age. I think he has 1 year left on his contract, and they definitely need to find a replacement for Van Dijk as well. So could this rebuild take another few years for Liverpool? I guess we'll have to wait and see how the rebuild takes out, or could it, galvanize Liverpool, and could they be competing for another Premier League next season? Where does that leave Arsenal as well? If Arsenal don't win the league this season, I think it's going to be very difficult for them to win the league next season. So it's very important for them to win the league this season, because I definitely think Manchester City will still be there, Liverpool will be there, Man United will be there as well, Chelsea can be there. So those are the usual teams that will be competing for the league next season, in my opinion. So yeah, I just think that if Arsenal don't win the league this season, it's going to be very difficult for them. And also, in my previous video, I said, hot take, guys, if Arsenal don't win the league this season, Man United might win the league before Arsenal does. That's just my hot take. And also, if Arsenal allow Manchester City to win the league this season, Manchester City can easily go on another four in a row, three in a row, two in a row. It is highly possible. We can't put that past Manchester City going on another run like that. Will they be dominating for another few years? And we'll have to wait and see what happens. So that's it for the Premier League, guys. Thank you for staying tuned to the video thus far. We'll jump straight into the Champions League. What are your predictions for the Champions League? There's some tight games, guys. The game that I'm most interested in is the Real Madrid versus Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich lead by one goal. They will be playing at home, hosting Real Madrid. Like I said last week, guys, Real Madrid, they are just always so lucky with the Champions League. Really, they're always lucky with the Champions League. They can turn it around within a matter of moments within the game. I don't think that 1-0 goal is enough for Bayern Munich. They're really going to have to be this really solid in defense, and they're going to have to go against Real Madrid. They shouldn't allow Real Madrid to attack them, or let me say, they shouldn't be sitting back thinking that they can hold on to a goal, because that's not going to happen. Real Madrid is going to score for sure. I think Real Madrid will for sure score. Bayern Munich will for sure score. So it's going to be or I expect um, a goals game. Really, I expect about minimum 3 goals in that game. Depending who scores, we'll have to wait and see. Um, who else is playing, guys? Of course, Barcelona is also playing. A shock defeat for them by Atletico Madrid, losing 2-0 to Atletico Madrid. Atletico really have the upper hand. Also, they'll be playing at home. Will Simeone stick to his tactics and hold back in this Champions League game? I think with Alvarez being in the team, we see a little bit more attack from the team, and obviously with the support of Griezmann supporting Alvarez, just playing slightly behind Alvarez. Um, he's again another player that shouldn't play with any shackles um, attached to them. So yeah, really, I think that Alvarez really makes a difference in this Madrid team. We all know that Atletico Madrid is a defensive team. Simeone is a defensive team, and they really needed a player like Alvarez. Very fast, very direct, can shoot outside of the box. That's really what I like about Alvarez. We've seen what he's done at Manchester City. I was really disappointed that Man City let him go, but I think that him personally wanted to be in a team where he's a star player. Unfortunately, that won't happen at Manchester City with Haaland being that star player. And for some reason, I think that there was also because of a language barrier thingy. But who knows? But nevertheless, Atletico hosts Barcelona. How do you think this game will match up? Does Yamal have enough to carry Barcelona in this tie? I don't really think so, guys. Really, I don't think so. I think that Atletico Madrid is really strong in defense, and they'll stick to their guns. They'll take the opportunities when it's there, and they definitely going to be a stubborn team to beat. Liverpool versus PSG. Liverpool hosts PSG in this case. I think PSG will be a little bit too much for Liverpool. Honestly, PSG is that team, but that one team to watch. I think that they will make a Champions League final, if not the semi-final, by the way they playing and by the looks of it. They are the current Champions League holders, and I think that it is possible for this team to make another Champions League. Really, by the way they're playing, Desiree Doué, Usman Dembele, um, Australia. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but fantastic players. Luis Enrique, another thing, he's a manager that knows how to win. He's a winner as well. That team are winners. They've won the Champions League last season. So yeah, in my opinion, I think that PSG will have a little bit too much for Liverpool in this matchup. Then again, another interesting game, a game that's not completely over. Arsenal will be hosting Sporting Lisbon. Will Arsenal have the mental capacity to get over the line in this competition? Really? And with the next game that's coming up on Sunday, so it's two big games for Arsenal. Their season could be in jeopardy in this week. They could lose in the Champions League and they can lose against Manchester City. And then all of a sudden, their quadruple talks is slowly slipping through their fingers. They're out of the Carabao Cup, they're out of the FA Cup. Things are looking really bleak in the Premier League. Things are also not yet for certain in the Champions League, looking at who they draw and on which side of the draw they are. They still got the quarterfinals as well as the semifinals. So a really big week for Arsenal. They really need to pull it together if they wanna um, get over the line in this competition. And it's really going to be interesting to see what team and how Mikel Arteta feels this week. Will he be having one eye on Sunday's game against Manchester City? Will he be a little bit more conservative? Or will he be going all out against in this game against Sporting Lisbon? Um, I guess we'll wait and see the lineup for tomorrow. I think he's definitely going to be fielding a strong team. That's for sure. He'll definitely field a strong team. Um, and I don't know. The thing is, with Arsenal and Mikel Arteta, I think that he's more worried of not losing the game than actually winning the game, and that, in my opinion, is their downfall and has been their downfall the past couple of seasons. He's so focused on not losing the league or losing matches that his attention is not on winning games. But that's all in his hands. um, what tactics will he use or what form of motivation will he use for this Arsenal team for tomorrow's matchup? We've all seen, in fact, on Wednesday, in fact, we've all seen the behind the scenes, the TikTok videos with the light bulb and the pencil and bring your families and your food and your carbohydrates and all of those things. They're really being trolled on social media and they look like they might end up with a big egg on their face. So things are really heating up for Arsenal. But that's it for the Premier League as well as for the Champions League preview. Let me know in the comment section who do you think is your quarter finalist for this competition. Here's my quick quarter finalist. I think Bayern Munich will go through. Let me come back to that game. PSG, I think they'll definitely go through. Atletico Madrid will go through. Arsenal, could it be a banana skin for them? Is their confidence knocked? I'm not too sure, but I think that Arsenal will go through. They'll make it through to the quarterfinals. Bayern Munich versus Real Madrid. If Real Madrid don't score early, I think that Bayern Munich will go through. There'll definitely be goals in that game. But that's it for today's video, guys. Thank you so much for staying thus far into the video. Please subscribe to the channel, like the videos, comment what do you think. What are your thoughts on the Premier League and what are your thoughts on the Champions League fixtures that will be happening tomorrow and Wednesday? But nevertheless, thank you so much for staying thus far to the video. I'll check you guys in the next one. Peace out.